It's Fans Corner. Welcome to it, and thank you once again for making time for us. We've just watched Kaizer Chiefs against Supersport United out in Polokwane, the new Peter Mokaba Stadium. Kaizer Chiefs winning that game by 4-0 and eliminating Supersports from the first round of the Carling knockout. Before we go into the game itself, we have to make a special shout out to the fans who made it to the stadium. It was a decent crowd for an evening game. I liked what I saw at Peter Mokaba, especially given the fact that there were two games playing on the same day at the same in the same town. I mean, the old Peter earlier on, before the Chiefs and Supersports game, there was the Marumo Gallants and Polokwane City game that played at the old Peter Mokaba Stadium. If you know that area, if you've been there, you know the two stadiums are just next to each other. They're separated by a road. There's just a road in between, similar to what you see in Durban between Moses Mabhida Stadium and what's that stadium? I think it's called Kings Park. Yeah, I think that's what it's called, where the Sharks play their rugby. So there's similar things, like you have a game happening in this stadium, and then an hour later there's another game happening on the other one. So the area itself would have been infiltrated by so many fans. So I like what I saw, and big up to the fans who made time, who took their time and efforts and resources to go to the stadium. That's what we want to see. We want to see our stadiums packed, and that's the only way that's one of the ways we are going to improve the quality of the game. Now let's get into the game itself. I think if we are to focus on the first half itself, the first 30 minutes in particular, I would give it to Supersports. I think they had a game plan. I suspect that Kevin Hunt would have focused on the game between Kaizer Chiefs and AmaZulu, where Chiefs scored 3 goals in the first half. He tried to avoid that. I think he tried to avoid it, and not by defending, by using their mechanism of defenses. I mean, attack is the best form of defense. So they tried to attack Kaizer Chiefs. They tried to take the game to Kaizer Chiefs. They created so many chances of their own. I think in the first 30 minutes, they could have had 2 goals of their own if they were clinical enough. They would have that would have created serious problems for Kaizer Chiefs. And how they did that, I personally think they targeted the central midfield, where Samuel Zwane and Yusuf Mart were operating. But in this particular game, I think Samuel Zwane came out on tops. What an amazing shift that he put in. We know Samuel Zwane, those of you who've been following the MTC during those days of Arthur Zwane there, that's when we saw Samuel Zwane and these youngsters, these other youngsters as well, who are now in the first team. I think we have not seen his best yet at Kaizer Chiefs, Samuel Zwane. We are still going to see, at the first team in particular, we are still yet to see his best. And if he gets the chance and he takes it and with his 2 hands, I think he's going to have an amazing career at Kaizer Chiefs. And shout out to Coach Nabi as well for believing in these youngsters. In the first line, in the starting 11, you have Samuel Zwane in the center of the field. You have Mduduzi Shabalala, you have Wandile Duba, who are all products of that MTC squad. So he believes in them, and I think he also allows them to play football, because if you look at them, they play with so much freedom. If you look at Duba and Shabalala in particular, because their roles allow them to express themselves, and also Mfundo Vilagazi, when he comes in, you see the very same thing. I think Nabi is able to manage these youngsters, and he believes in them. He's given them the responsibility. I just hope the pressure doesn't become too much on them, or they get too relaxed as well. So he has to strike a balance there, because there's some serious talent with these youngsters, and I think they did a great job, especially with the kind of game plan that Kevin Hunt had. Kevin Hunt could have easily killed this game in the first half. In the first 30 minutes, he could have easily won that game. So he he tried to avoid what Chiefs did to AmaZulu, because they know that Chiefs can be dangerous in those first 30 minutes. So they tried to make sure that the Chiefs have to do a lot of defending as well. So it was a strategy that I think worked for Supersports for that particular time. But as time goes on, Chiefs also growing into the game with what I like these days, with the kind of passing, these quick 1-2 passes between Kaizer Chiefs players. They do it so quick, sometimes it takes just a couple of seconds to move from their own 18 to their final third. And that's where I think we still need a slight an improvement from Kaizer Chiefs, where they're not clinical enough We saw Shivaviro getting opportunities and not converting. They could have also scored more than 4 goals. I think in this particular game, the scoreline is a little bit deceiving. It suggests that it was a one-way traffic, but Supersport had a decent shift as well. But the scoreline suggests that it was a one-sided game, but it wasn't like that. Gaston Sirino, man, we mentioned Gaston Sirino in the previous game. What more can we say about him? That stuff of a quality player, you know, taking the ball from the right hand side, cutting through to the middle of the final third, and netting it in such a way that the goalkeeper doesn't see it coming. He just hears from the crowd that it's too late. It's too late. Two goal contribution in the game with an assist and a goal for Gaston Sirino. Beautiful way to make your mark in the first round of the Carling knockout. Other players as well came through, and Supersports also had their fair share of chances. Had they been clinical enough, I think we could have been talking about something else. But I have to give shout out to Coach Nabi. I think at this point he is showing traits of a good coach because he is able to manage talent that he found at the team and blend it with players that he signed himself. I think I like that, and I like the fact that we have these young players who are looking very sharp now. And I like what happens in the second half when he introduces the likes of Mfundo Vilagazi. Whenever he makes these changes, you can see there's a change even in the energy of the team and the way they attack as well. I like it so much. Mtu Shabalala, if he continues like this, he's going to have a great season. Wandile Duba, I've already spoken about Samuel Zwane, and also Mfundo Vilagazi as well. I think we're in for a great season. I think going forward, and I'd like to see a great performance by Chiefs in this particular competition, because remember, this is Nabi coming to Chiefs that has a trophy drought for so long. This is the shortest competition that he can use to achieve a trophy, because he came to a Chiefs that did not qualify for the MTN 8. The MTN 8 would have been even shorter. Now there's this Carling knockout, which is shorter than the what is this? The Nedbank Cup, because that one has 32 teams. This one has 16 teams. It's shorter than the league. It's shorter than the Nedbank Cup. So that's his opportunity to actually get the monkey off his back and get some pressure off himself as well. But I think he stands a chance of doing really well in the competition, having seen how they play. So by the time this video comes out, the draw has not yet been made because there's still 2 games to be played. And also the amount of goals scored so far, that's amazing. That's great. All the games that have played have had a number of goals, and I think if this is anything to go by in this year's Carling knockout, then we're going to see a humdinger of a competition. So as a Kaizer Chiefs fan, obviously you would imagine I'm excited and I'm happy with what I saw with Nabi Ball. So far I'm optimistic and I'm hopeful, just like a whole lot of other Kaizer Chiefs fans. Let us know what you think on the comment section. Thank you so much for making time. This has been Fans Corner.